8 years. That's how long I've been walking through the same revolving doors every morning, riding the same elevator to the 23rd floor, grabbing the same black coffee from the Starbucks in the lobby of this Manhattan skyscraper near Times Square. My name is Sarah Thompson. I'm 34 years old, and I work as a data scientist at one of the largest financial firms on Wall Street. Every day I arrive at the same cubicle, see the same faces who still don't know my name. It was Thursday, October 17th, the day that would change everything. New York City was experiencing that perfect fall weather, crisp air, golden leaves, 65 degrees. I was coming from my studio apartment in Queens, taking the N train like I had every day for the past 8 years. I wore my usual black blazer from Target, carried my worn leather bag, my blonde hair pulled back in a simple ponytail. When I entered the office, something felt different. Clusters of coworkers were gathered around the coffee machine, talking excitedly. Michael from marketing, who I'd worked with for 6 years, walked past me without even a nod. That was my reality. I existed, but I was transparent, like office furniture. My job was to analyze market trends, predict financial patterns, create algorithms that helped the firm make millions in smart investments. My models had prevented catastrophic losses multiple times. But when the managing director, Richard Sterling, presented wins to the board, he always said, "The analytics team did this, never Sarah Thompson." I remember one particularly painful moment 3 years ago. I had developed a predictive model that identified a market crash 2 weeks before it happened. The firm moved billions out of risky positions based on my analysis. We avoided losses that bankrupted 2 of our competitors. At the board meeting, Richard said my department had saved the company. I sat in the back of the conference room, watching him receive a standing ovation for my work. That night, I went back to my tiny Queens apartment and cried into a pint of Ben & Jerry's. My roommate Jessica, who worked as a nurse, tried to comfort me. "Sarah, you need to quit. Find a company that values you." But I was stuck in that cycle of fear and hope. Fear that I wouldn't find anything better. Hope that someday someone would notice my work. Back to that October Thursday, I received an email from HR. The annual awards gala was scheduled for that evening at the Plaza Hotel. Same story every year. We all gather in the ballroom, listen to speeches, watch the same people win awards, eat tiny appetizers, and pretend to enjoy ourselves. I spent the day as usual, analyzing cryptocurrency trends and building models for emerging markets. Around me, assistants gossiped about what they would wear that night, speculated about who would win which award. Nobody asked if I was coming. It was assumed I'd be there, part of the background. At 5:30, I went home to change. I put on my only formal dress, a navy blue one I'd bought at Macy's clearance sale 4 years ago. I looked at myself in the bathroom mirror, professional but forgettable, exactly how I'd looked for 8 years. The Plaza Hotel was stunning. Crystal chandeliers, elaborate floral arrangements, servers circulating with champagne and caviar. I recognized the executives, board members, all the important people. I found a seat at a table in the corner with the IT support staff, fellow invisible workers. The ceremony began predictably. The CEO talked about record profits, expansion into Asian markets, the future of fintech. Then came the awards: Salesperson of the Year, Most Innovative Project, Team Player Award. The names I expected, the applause, the photos. Then Richard walked onto the stage, my direct boss for 7 years. My heart beat a little faster. I don't know why. Maybe because somewhere deep down I still carried that stupid hope. He started talking about the importance of data analysis in modern finance, how algorithms and AI were the future of trading. "This year," he said, and paused, scanning the audience. "This year, I want to highlight someone who has been the silent backbone of our department for 8 years, someone whose work often goes unnoticed, but whose impact on this firm is immeasurable." I felt my palms getting sweaty. "No," I told myself, "don't hope. Sarah Thompson." His voice echoed through the ballroom. "Please, come to the stage." Time stopped. I heard my name, but my brain refused to process it. The IT guy next to me nudged me. "Sarah, he's calling you." I stood on shaky legs. Every step toward the stage felt like an eternity. I felt hundreds of eyes on me. When I climbed onto the stage, Richard smiled at me. It was the first genuine smile I'd ever seen from him. Sarah single-handedly developed the algorithm that predicted the March correction, saving our clients over $2 billion. Her work this year alone generated profits of $300 million for the firm. The ballroom erupted in applause. But Richard wasn't done. For years, Sarah has worked in the shadows, never complaining, always delivering exceptional results. Today, I want to correct an injustice I've perpetrated for years. Sarah, you've been invisible for too long. That ends tonight. He handed me a crystal award with my name engraved on it. My hands trembled as I accepted it. I tried to speak, but my throat was tight with emotion. There's more, Richard continued. I'm pleased to announce that Sarah has been promoted to Vice President of Quantitative Analysis, with a 70% salary increase and a team of 15 analysts. Now I was in complete shock. This I hadn't expected. Tears started rolling down my cheeks. I couldn't stop them. They handed me the microphone. I had to say something. I looked at the room full of people and for the first time felt like they actually saw me. Not looking through me, but at me. Thank you. My voice was quiet but steady. For 8 years I thought my work went unnoticed. Tonight you've shown me I was wrong. Thank you for giving me the chance to show what I can do. I promise that as VP, I'll ensure that no one on my team ever feels invisible. I walked off stage to thunderous applause. People approached me, congratulating me, telling me they always knew I was brilliant. Some of them didn't even know my name until tonight. Jennifer from compliance, who I sometimes ate lunch with at the deli across the street, came up with tears in her eyes. Sarah, I'm so happy for you. You deserve this more than anyone. I spent the rest of the evening in the spotlight, for the first time in 8 years. People wanted to hear about my algorithms, my predictions for the market. Executives who had ignored me for years were now handing me their business cards. When I got home that night, it was almost midnight. The subway ride felt different. I wasn't the invisible girl from Queens anymore. I sat in my tiny apartment, looking at the Manhattan skyline through my window, holding the crystal award. I FaceTimed my mom back in Ohio. It was late, but I knew she'd want to know. Mom, you're not going to believe what happened, I said, through happy tears. She cried with me, told me she always knew this day would come. The next day, Friday, everything was different. The security guard greeted me by name. The assistants who had ignored me for years were now inviting me to their lunch plans. My new office, yes, I got my own office, was spacious, with a view of the Hudson River. The first thing I did as VP was meet with my new team. 15 brilliant analysts, all talented, all a little intimidated. First of all, I began, I want you to know that I see each of you. Your work won't be invisible. Your ideas will be heard. And when we celebrate successes, we'll celebrate them together. James, fresh out of MIT, raised his hand. Ms. Thompson, is it true you predicted the March correction when nobody else saw it coming? Yes, I answered. But more importantly, I did that kind of work for 8 years before anyone noticed. You won't have to wait that long. The next few weeks were challenging. I was learning to lead, to delegate, to inspire. But most importantly, I was learning to be visible, to speak up in meetings, to present my ideas confidently, to take up the space I deserved. A month after the gala, Richard invited me to lunch at 11 Madison Park. We sat at a table overlooking the park. I owe you an apology, he said, looking me straight in the eye. For years, I took credit for your work. I knew how valuable you were, but it was easier to keep you in the shadows. Why? I asked, genuinely wanting to understand. Fear, he admitted. Fear that you'd outshine me. That people would realize you were the real genius, not me. It was selfish and unprofessional. I appreciated his honesty. What made you change your mind? My daughter, he said. She's 25, just started at a tech startup. She came home crying one night because her boss was stealing her ideas, and I realized I was doing the exact same thing to you. I couldn't live with that anymore. That conversation was cathartic. It didn't excuse his actions, but it helped me understand that invisibility isn't always about us. Sometimes it's about other people's insecurities. 6 months later, my team and I presented a revolutionary trading algorithm directly to the board of directors. It was a complete game changer that could position the firm as the leader in AI-driven trading. I stood before the board, presenting with confidence I didn't know I had. This is a collaborative effort from my team, I said, pointing to my analysts in the front row. James developed the machine learning models. Lisa created the risk assessment protocols. Marcus handled the backtesting. Each of them was crucial to this project's success. I saw pride on their faces. I knew how they felt: seen, valued, important. After the presentation, the chairman of the board approached me. "Sarah, I'm impressed, not just with the project, but with how you lead your team. We're considering creating a new position, Chief Data Officer. Would you be interested?" A year ago, I would have fainted. Now I just smiled confidently and said, "Absolutely. Let's discuss the details." Today, 2 years after that October evening, my life is unrecognizable. I lead a team of 60 people across 3 offices: New York, London, and Singapore. My name is known in the fintech industry. I'm invited to speak at Harvard Business School, at MIT, at international conferences. But the most important change isn't the title or the salary. It's how I move through the world. No longer with my head down, hoping not to bother anyone. Now I walk with my head high, taking up the space that's rightfully mine. I still keep that Crystal Award. It sits on my bookshelf, reminding me of the journey I've taken. Sometimes, when I mentor young professionals, I tell them my story. I tell them hard work is important, but they should never accept being invisible. Last week I found a young woman crying in the bathroom. She'd been working in operations for 6 years and felt completely invisible. I sat with her and told her my story. "But what if they never notice me?" she asked through tears. "Then you'll have to make them notice," I told her. "Document your work. Speak up in meetings. Send emails highlighting your achievements. And if they still don't see you, find a place that will." I gave her my card. "If you decide to look for something new, call me. I'm always looking for talented people who know what it's like to work in the shadows." She looked at me with hope in her eyes. The same hope I carried for 8 years. Sometimes I wonder what would have happened if Richard hadn't said my name that night. Would I still be invisible? Would I still be waiting for someone to notice me? I'll never know. What I do know is that one moment of recognition changed everything. One moment when someone said my name out loud, in front of everyone, and confirmed that I exist, that I matter, that my work has value. Now, every time I host the annual awards gala for my region, I pay special attention to the quiet workers, the ones who arrive first and leave last, the ones whose work keeps the company running but whose names are never mentioned. I call them to the stage. I say their names loud and clear. I watch their faces change from shock to joy, exactly like mine did that October evening. Because everyone deserves to be seen. Everyone deserves to hear their name spoken with respect. 8 years is too long to wait, but it's never too late to start a new chapter. My story isn't unique. In every office, in every company, there are people working in silence, hoping that someday their effort will be recognized. Some get their moment like I did. Others eventually give up and leave. But for all of us who've been invisible, that moment when we're finally seen is transformative. Yesterday I had a meeting with Richard. We're colleagues at the same level now. We talked about strategy for next year. At the end of the meeting he said, "You know, Sarah, the best thing I ever did was recognize your work that night." "The second best thing," I replied, "was that you did it publicly. Public recognition has a power that private praise can never achieve." He nodded. "I learned that from you. Now I always give credit where it's due, publicly and loudly." Walking back to my office, I passed a group of interns. They were chatting excitedly about their projects, full of enthusiasm and hope. I stopped for a moment. "Hey," I said to them, "I just want you to know that I see you. Your work matters, and if you ever feel invisible, come talk to me." They looked at me with gratitude. One girl, probably no older than 22, said, "Thank you, Ms. Thompson. We've heard your story. It gives us hope." And that's perhaps the most important part of all this. Not just that I became visible, but that I can help others become visible too. 8 years in the shadows taught me the value of light, and now that I have the power to illuminate others, I use it every day. Tonight, I'm going home to my new apartment in Tribeca. It's not the tiny Queen's studio anymore, but a penthouse with a terrace overlooking the city. But I still have that old navy blue dress in my closet. I keep it as a reminder that I was invisible, a reminder that I survived, and a reminder that one moment, one name spoken aloud can change everything. My name is Sarah Thompson. I was invisible for 8 years, but I'm not anymore, and I never will be again. And now I want to ask you, My viewers, have you ever felt invisible at work? Has your hard work gone unrecognized? Share your stories in the comments below. If this story touched you, hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell so you don't miss more real stories that could change your life. And remember, don't wait 8 years like I did. Fight for your recognition today. Let me know what you think. Should bosses do more to recognize their employees' work? Do you have a similar story? I read every single comment, and I'd love to hear from you. Your story matters, just like mine did. See you in the next video.